Movements that heal back pain, part 3. Hey everybody, this is Mike Erlob coming at you with another episode of Power Your Life. So a couple of weeks ago, just something I want to share with you that happened. A couple of weeks ago, my son Garrett and I, we were hiking again up at the Hitchcock Nature Center. And, I've talked about going hiking up there before, but when we were up there, a couple of weeks prior to us being up there, they had done a controlled burn. And we were walking through that area of the park where they had done that controlled burn. And I got to tell you, it was like walking on another planet. It was really, everything was very desolate and bare, where they had burned that off, and it was really eerie. And my son Garrett, he asked me, he said, why do they do this? Why do they do these controlled burns? And I've always known, that you do it to revitalize things. And, but I couldn't really explain it to him like I really wanted to. And it really got me thinking, like, what other reasons are there for doing controlled burns? And I decided to do a little research into it. And according to an article that I read by the National Geographic, controlled burning is done for a number of reasons. One is it helps the forest, it keeps the forest healthy by getting rid of dead leaves, tree limbs, other debris to prevent wildfires in the future, which, we kind of knew that. It makes sense, kind of get rid of that dead underbrush so there's not as much kindling, if there's a lightning storm. But I also learned something too, that it helps reduce insects and it helps destroy any invasive plants. And then the other thing I learned was that the fire can be rejuvenating to the forest by returning the nutrients to the soil through the ashes of the vegetation. And then it also opens up additional sunlight for open space in the forest, so it can help those young plants and young trees to really grow and develop. And this got me thinking. It really made me think about how a controlled burn in the forest is a lot like how we have to make room in our own lives for growth. In order for you to progress and grow in your life, you're going to have to make room for that growth. That can often mean getting rid of, the good stuff in order to make room for the great. And all growth requires space. And it doesn't matter if the growth is emotional, physical, or spiritual in nature. There has to be room for the new. That means you're going to have to, make room by cleaning out your closets, so to speak. Well, what I mean by that is, in order to make room, you're going to have to let go of some things in your life or your schedule. There's only 24 hours in a day, okay? And you should be sleeping at least 7 or 8 of those hours. So in order to grow, you're going to have to take some things off of your schedule. You're going to have to make room in your mind. Making space in your life means, cleaning out your closets of your life. That's often letting go of those things, those thoughts, those habits, things that no longer serve you. And I'm telling you, I'm speaking from experience. I know this is often hard to do. It can be really, really scary to let go of things that are still good. And that requires faith that you will be able to replace these things with something even better. And although there are no guarantees in life, I do know that if you don't make room for progress and growth, then your life will never improve or change. Now, let's get ready to change your back pain with another new amazing movement. So remember, the movements that heal back pain, they're the ones that they hit the key muscle groups that contribute to back issues. You've got to work multiple muscle groups at the same time. You need movements that prime your nervous system and that are capable of creating a structural change in your body. So today, what we're going to do is focus on one of the best movements that I have found that really strengthens your glutes, okay? Specifically, the gluteus maximus. We're talking about your butt muscle, okay? I would like to refer it as the glute max, okay? So the glute max is your rear glute. And what it does is it helps extend your hip, it helps bring your leg backward, but it also stabilizes the spine through the hip. Now, this movement that I'm going to show you is going to engage your body's natural synergies and the nervous system at the same time during the exercise. It's going to use multiple joints and it's going to use movements in multiple planes. And it's really simple and easy to do either at home or at the gym, yet it's going to be very challenging and effective if you do it the right way. So before we go into this movement, let's review those principles of those multifunctional movements, okay? First of all, never hold your breath during this movement, okay? Make sure you breathe. Always keep your abdominals and your core engaged during the movement, and you just do that simply by pulling the belly button into your spine. Never force yourself into your primary pain level, okay? Now, muscle soreness that can be created from performing a movement is good, but an increase in your primary pain level is not, all right? Now, if you have pain before you start, you want to be conscientious of that pain. Don't do anything to aggravate it. And a correct movement, it will decrease the pain. It won't make it worse. And last, now I've talked about this before, make sure you challenge yourself. You've got to work this movement to a point where you feel at least 40% challenged, you know? If you don't do that, you may not gain as much from it. So today, the movement that we're going to do is one that we call donkey kicks, all right? And donkey kicks are a great movement because they're going to hit the glutes, they're going to stretch out your hip flexors or your psoas muscle, and they're going to really work on strengthening the abdominals and improving your balance. So when I'm talking about it, we're going to move over here a little bit. So donkey kicks are going to work, they're going to work those glutes, okay? They're going to stretch out your hip flexor, all right? They're going to stretch that psoas muscle out, that key muscle. Remember, the psoas and the glutes are two of the main key muscles that create back pain, all right? So it's going to help stretch that out. It's going to engage your core, and most importantly, it's also going to help you with your balance, okay? So you're doing all of these things with the same movement. Now, I've got our assistant Angela holding the bag for me, and what we're doing is we're going to use a heavy bag, okay? Now, you can do this, in most gyms today will have heavy bags, but you could also do this at home if you were using like a door jamb, or if you were maybe in your basement and you had one of the support poles, you could use that. But whatever you want to use, you want to make sure you're safe, okay? So if you're going to use a heavy bag, make sure you have somebody to stabilize it for you. Really watch your balance, okay? So if you feel off balance or you have trouble, this is going to require at a time that you stand on one leg. So if you have trouble with your balance, it is helpful to have something to hold on to if you need that. All right, so let's get started. So a donkey kick is simply where you position yourself, okay, away from the bag, and it's a rear kick, okay? So just like a donkey, you know, or a horse or a cow, you know, that kicks from behind, that's what you're doing. And this creates a contact force when you hit the bag that pushes back through the body, that creates a contraction of the glutes, and then creates co-contraction of all of the other muscles and stabilizing muscles, all right? So the first thing, let's just get down to it. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull in my belly button, I'm going to tighten my abdominals. I'm going to make sure that I've got a good distance from the bag, all right? So you don't want to be out here where you're like kicking way back. You don't want to be too close, because right there you see I'm not getting any extension. If I'm using my other side, I'm not getting any extension of my hip. I want to be back a little bit where I can really make contact with it, okay? So as I kick back, it stretches through those hip flexors, contracts the glutes. If I keep my belly button tightened, it will really help with that, help with those lower abdominals. So holding, and this is where I was talking about standing on one leg, that if you need to, you could use a chair or a table or something nearby that hold on to. But all you're going to do is you're going to make contact with that bag. So it's just like that, okay? You just kick one after the other, hitting with the heel of the foot. And of course, I'm standing on the one leg, my right leg, which makes me work my balance too. So you start out kicking a little harder, a little faster, just like that. Creates a co-contraction of the hip muscles, active contraction of the glutes. To strengthen a muscle, you have to work two variables. You either have to increase the force of the contraction, or you have to increase the speed, okay? Because force equals mass times acceleration. Mass meaning the weight. So like when you're lifting weights, you have to lift heavier weights to get stronger and stronger. But in many cases, lifting heavier weights isn't safe, okay? So in this situation, to really strengthen those glutes, if you work on the speed of the kicks, the acceleration, and the force that you're kicking with, you can get a greater force production, which is going to result in increased strengthening of those glutes. And again, same time, stretching of the psoas, and also balance work on that other side. Start with 20 seconds of kick time, all right? Just one after the other for 20 seconds. Build yourself up to 40 seconds and do 3 sets of that, okay? So really, really basic, easy to do. You'll get winded when you do it, which is good because you want a little cardiovascular work with that. So again, it can be challenging, but work on your speed and the force of the kicks, okay? By the way, if you are needing any extra help fixing your back pain, you can sign up for our back pain breakthrough exam at the link that we've put in the comments below. As always, I'm going to leave you with a thought-provoking quote from Warren Wiersbe. And what he said was, real contentment must come from within. You and I cannot change or control the world around us, but we can change and control the world within us. I'm going to let you ruminate on that one for a while. Until next time, power your life and keep moving forward.